Dr. Joel Early, and welcome to the ongoing series, Spread the Facts, Not the Virus. One question is, why do some people get very sick with COVID-19 and others do not? We've all heard of people testing positive for COVID-19 who recover at home with few symptoms and have no lasting effects, while others get very sick and are hospitalized. And overall, about 3% of people will die, many times more than with influenza. There are some known risk factors for a bad outcome. They include age. Statistically, the older you are, the more likely you are to have decreased ability to fight the infection. But we know of people over 90 who have recovered. Also, other medical conditions, some of which we may not know about before we get sick, can make us more susceptible. However, young people, including those in their 20s, teens, and younger, can get very sick from COVID-19. The nature of COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus, can and does dramatically impact people's health, and for some survivors, their life is never the same. You may remember hearing about Broadway star Nick Cordero, who died in July after a long battle with the coronavirus. He was 41. He spent 90 days in the hospital, had his leg amputated due to blood clots, and was being considered for a lung transplant because of the damage the disease did to his lungs. Or maybe you've heard about children in Washington, Idaho, and other places who were profoundly sick, and some of whom died from the disease. So what causes this variability? Why do some people do fine and some do awful? There are internal things that impact how your body responds to this disease. They include advancing age and coexisting diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity. But in addition, how your body responds to the infection is a poorly understood but very important determinant of what happens to you. How your body fights the infection, that is, your immune response, matters a lot. If your immune response is too weak, you're more likely to not do well. But also, if your immune response is too strong, you'll not do well. Undefined inherited factors, prior exposure to another coronavirus, and things we don't know define how we respond to the infection, and they determine what happens to us. Many of these you can't control. And that's part of what makes this disease so scary. But it's also part of the reason why it's so important to not get the disease this time. Do everything you can to avoid getting COVID-19. Wear a mask, practice physical distancing, and do careful hand cleansing. We're all worn out by this, but we will outlast this. Remember that the worst thing that has happened is not the last thing that will happen. We will make it through this, and we will rebuild, grow, and flourish once again. Thank you for tuning in.